Hello, everybody. This is Taylor Jones letting you know that it's been a real long time since I've been on a YouTube rant video and whatnot. Heck, I haven't been on YouTube ever since I went to Memphis. I'm still in Memphis right now. Go Tigers, but what's the point of me making a video right now? Well, I'm going to break down a little something, a brand new video after a long time. And for those that watched my recent video about a little story about Jamal and what he's been up against, I want to say thank you very much because when it comes to characters like Jamal, it can happen to anybody. But since my dad, he called me a couple months ago and he said he saw the video and he said he liked it and he would like for me to keep going. So that's what I'm going to do. But this time, just like the Jamal video, it's going to be different because this is especially for the college students everywhere. But this time, I'm going to talk about a female this time. I keep saying this time, but look, it's not easy. But the way that it's going to go down, since I mentioned it's going to be a she, what would be her name? Her name is Suzanne. Suzanne, where are you now, Suzanne? Her parents' favorite song was Roxanne. UTFO back in the 80s. But in the 2010s, it's not easy for this young lady. 23 years old, a senior in college, a lack of friends, but a hard time keeping up with her knowledge. She never even know when to take some time and just chill, like party and nonsense, party and bullcrap, like Biggie once said. But what's the deal? Her parents, her parents passed away from getting murdered at a attempted robbery. The same thing that got Bruce Wayne to turn into a depressed character that he is. He always speak in a low tone. He never even want to admit to the police what happened to his parents when the oh what the heck. It's not like the same story as Batman movie, a whole different story. But for Suzanne, it was just another drama, another tragedy, slapping her in the face like Father Tom slapped mine. She was considered depressed. She don't know when to step up. She don't know when to get her act together. See the real world. Her friends especially on Instagram, they have photos of them having a good time in Atlanta. Sometimes they went on to Las Vegas or probably California, turned up, wearing them small dresses and jumper suits, listening to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, getting turned up, smoking hookahs, or the so-called version of the bongs, hits from the bong. Can I get high? Suzanne was like, oh my gosh. Has the world gone mad? If so, why? Suzanne was the only one that figured it out, but she ain't did much. She's not communicating with others, and she doesn't even ask for help, and that's why she's struggling. Such and such. Hasn't been the same because her parents, as I said earlier, passed away from getting shot at a robbery. But 2 weeks later, after the robbery that took her parents' life, she took out the money from her parents' savings in a box, the the safe where they always have their savings for good reasons. Suzanne, she decided to split the money half and half. One half was for funeral expenses. The other half was for her. And also to keep up, like pay the house, and she did that. But what's weird about Suzanne, she threw a funeral of her parents in her own house, and it all took place in the garage. She had to buy extra lights bright enough, and everybody was dressed in black. A lot of words been said, but after, oh, man, it sucks to be tired. After she continued the funeral arrangements, everybody was getting ready to leave. They had to walk out of the garage with the roof set up. And the men who were the partakers, they put the caskets in two hearses. Two Cadillac hearses. The old school Cadillac Sevilles, 1979 hearses. One was black and one was blue. And of course, since she was the main person responsible for hosting the funeral of her parents, she drove in what appeared to be a Dodge Monaco, a Dodge 1975 Monaco, but in the colors of black and white, referencing the Blues Brothers mobile. While they were driving to the cemetery, everybody looked at Suzanne like, what in the world? She knew what she was doing, but she was a teenage girl. 17 years old, but here we are 6 years later. Grieving for her parents until this day, and also feeling like nobody is doing her a favor because she hasn't done herself a favor at all. You live and you learn. You crash and fall. Crash and burn. But she keep falling apart. So after struggling throughout her senior year, well, the first half of her senior year, she had enough. That's it. I have got to get my automatic act together. So what did she do? One Friday afternoon, she decided to do her homework around 1 p.m. She did all of her homework one by one. But then, after taking care of her homework around for every class she took at the time, she had three different assignments from three different classes. One was from math, one was from biology, and one was uh, from writing. I mean, when she started college, she was like avoided by everybody because she looked like she was in a gothic mood, like always wearing black clothes. It's kind of like poetic justice all over again. But on that day, she had a different look because originally she used to wear her hair in a ponytail. She always had her hair in a ponytail, even on Fridays, because she doesn't go anywhere. But I guess what made her change her way? Well, let's say that the night before she was resting, had a nightmare that she was stuck in chains. She couldn't sleep through the night until she got up and like, what is going on with me? I can't rest. So much stress, so much pressure rising up. Not enough rest, not enough sweet dreams. So Suzanne was like, she got up out of bed and decided to just drink water. And she actually saw one of her roommates coming back home from running around the town on a Thursday night. Uh, and her name was Luann. Like Luann Johnson of Dangerous Minds, portrayed by Michelle Pfeiffer. Luann from King of the Hill, voiced by the late Brittany Murphy. Luann, that's a beautiful name, but a Southern girl type name. Because Luann was from Texas, Waco, Texas. The same Waco, Texas that created High Five. She asked, hey, why you up? Suzanne had to keep it real. She was tired of having nightmares about what's been going on throughout her life. Because it's kind of like the same feeling that Alan Payne's character Jason had on Jason's Lyric. And he finally told somebody about what's been causing Alan Payne's character to suffer. Because of his brother, or is it because he killed his own father? I mean, honestly, What sucked about Suzanne's life was that the criminal responsible for taking her parents' life, he never got caught. Never. But then, after telling Luann her her issues about life based on her nightmare and not having a lot of friends, the only thing that Luann ever did, she broke down and cried. And then all of a sudden, another roommate appeared. She got out of bed because she had a hard time too. But this roommate that she and Luann, Suzanne and Luann had, she was, let's just say she was abused. How? She always wears a black eye, not a black eye patch because she wouldn't want anybody to reveal her black eye. Now, who's stupid enough to beat up a roommate that they call Black Eye Jane? Black Eye Jane. Black Eye Jane. As if you're about to say the Black Eyed Peas. Well, it was her mom. Black Eyed Jane's mom has went bonkers since day one. After her father died, but her mom pulled the trigger. He was planning to leave her and also promised that Jane would come with him so that way they can find peace. Because he was in the Church of Christ. But her mother, she was like, "Heck no, I am not gonna let this God thing get between us." And instead of saying, oh, if that's the case, you might as well shoot me. And of course, Black Eyed Jane's mom, she was like a hawk. Picking at her, punching her, slapping her, stomping on her. Nobody stopped her from doing that. But unfortunately, Black Eyed Jane, after hearing Luann crying and Suzanne telling her sob story, she decided to tell hers. And afterwards, the three roommates decided to call me to put it into this darkness that's been bothering each other. But Luann, what's her darkness? She admitted that she was once homosexual, and she was ashamed of how it turned out because her girlfriend Stacy, she got lynched by a fraternity who teamed up with a sorority that was totally against LGBTQs. But honestly, what was so great about that? People disrespecting others, killing each other. It's like Stacy has dealt with the college version of the Ku Klux Klan. Yet all the members from the fraternities and sororities who tort who kidnapped her and took her to the woods and put a noose around her and say, "Any last words?" They hung her before she could even say anything, as in, "Time's up!" Boom. Kicked the ladder and watched Stacy's death. But unfortunately, Stacy's brother, Damien, he called Luann, and after hearing the news, she was hushed up for a couple years. So that leads to the very next day, Friday, that I was talking about earlier. Suzanne, she got her act together. So she decided to stop wearing black after so long, though. 6 years of wearing black. She decided to show her true colors. So she wore a so she wore a rainbow turtleneck, black slacks with black leathered boots tucked underneath the pant legs, as if she was about to get a job application. She let her hair down finally, but instead, from the ponytail, she decided to do a different type of ponytail. But this time, an updo ponytail. You know, when the top of your hair is like this, but the rest of your hair is all the way down. And fun fact, Suzanne never wore jewelry in her life. Not even no earrings, no necklaces, no bracelets, none of that. Because according to her, wearing jewelry, it makes you look like a complete show off. Everywhere you go, everywhere you turn. And also, she started wearing red lipstick. But as for her her roommates, Luann and Stacy, no, Black Eyed Jane. I'm sorry. Black Eyed Jane decided to stop wearing her black eye patch. Because she knew that one day somebody's going to expose her as if she was the female version of Slick Rick. And not to mention, she just had a phone call from her abusive mother, cussing and screaming her away, saying, "No, I'm picking you up. You're not going to. This school has got you distracted." But before her mother could say anything else, Black Eyed Jane said, "That is enough. You are a jerk. Oh, by the way, wait, the police are on their way." How did she know that the police was on their way to her mother? Well, after last night, like at 8 a.m., Black Eyed Jane had enough with the struggles she had, and she decided to call the police and file and ask them to arrest her mom for the murder of her father. And Luann, who finally got her act together. finally broke down and cried. She decided to stop keeping secrets. So she made a video on YouTube saying, "What's the difference between straight and gay?" And at the end of the video, she made a shocking, spoiling surprise. Dropped a spoiler bomb after mentioning the death of her ex-girlfriend Stacy, and also named the individuals from the fraternity and the sororities that killed her by hanging her. She said, I will no longer be gay from this day forward. In which Luann felt confident that she's getting out of the red zone and starting her life over and trying to do some better things. Probably go to the Church of Christ that her father wanted her to go to, and to make her father's dream come true. No. That's Black Eyed Jane. See, it's not easy to keep up with the characters and you get them mixed up. But I do know that the world was no longer mixed up for Black Eyed Jane, who is now just plain old Jane. Susan, who was always dressed in black, which is the main character, and Luann, who was once gay until she kept her mouth shut about Stacy's death until now. And at 7 p.m., uh, Luann, Jane, and Suzanne, they all went out to the town. They drove around to Bill Street, take photos of the Memphis landmarks, and they decided where life is going to lead them. Like, how's it going to turn out? Afterwards, they decided to keep up with each other, and they started being the true meaning of friends. But unfortunately, their friendship didn't last long on the campus, because when May arrived, all three all three roommates, Jane, Luann, and Suzanne, they all graduated from Memphis. After graduating from Memphis, Jane brought a Bible, and she emptied her her dorm room, and her next goal in life was to move to Kentucky. Jane, she moved to Kentucky. Luann, after she graduated Memphis, she returned back to Texas. Oh, and by the way, the police, they did a somewhat of a forensic files type search, and they trying to find the individuals responsible for the death of Stacy, Luann's girlfriend, And the results were traced to the fraternity and the sororities. 6 men and 6 women were all charged. They were all arrested and placed in the in the back of a police van. They were all tried for murder. 2/3 of the men they were they were put in they were in prison for 30 years. And 1/3 of the men responsible for the death, they confessed. And since they confessed to the crime while the others pleaded the Fifth Amendment, they had a lesser sentence. And now they're serving 15 years. And their chance for parole is the 10th year 10. But for the ladies, since they were the ones that abducted Stacy, kidnapped her, and took her to the woods, they all facing life. They're facing life. No chance of parole, no chance of freedom, since they were the ones responsible for coming up with an idea. And they even teamed up with the fraternity that had the same feeling. They can't stand homosexuality. But the ladies, they took it too far. The sororities did. The frats did part of the work, but the sororities did most of the work. It's kind of funny that life for Susan was so dark, but her story was not even close to end, because there was a big bullet left, one last bullet in the chamber, as people would say. What is this, Russian roulette? Suzanne was packing her bags, getting ready to kiss Memphis, the University of Memphis, goodbye. But before she could, while she was at the car, Mr. You Know Who appeared. From 6 years, the same guy responsible for killing Suzanne's parents, he appeared on campus with a gun aimed at her head. And what's funny, she wore the exact same colors of the clothes that she wore on the day when her parents died. And what did he want? The killer, the thief. What did he want? He wanted her wallet. So Suzanne, to keep herself from getting killed and joining her deceased parents, she decided to give him the wallet. But little did he know she had an extra wallet. Because throughout her life in college, She knew a thing about watching out, protect yourself at all times, even when it comes to creating fake money and using an extra wallet. So when the thief found out that the money was fake, all the money was fake in her wallet, he was darn well about to pull the trigger. But unfortunately, she fired back. And yes, she got into a fight by stepping on both of his feet, kicking him in the groin, taking her me, and even backhand slapping the thief. And the only thing she ever said was, "This is for my parents you killed and robbed last year." I mean, no, for 6 years. I wouldn't call it getting even. I would call it fighting back. And then all of a sudden, the school security, they they found him on the ground. And also, she confessed that after she was asked, "You know this person?" "Yes, he killed my parents 6 years ago and robbed them." And after the police were shook to hear what went down, ooh wee, let me tell you, they handcuffed him, read him the Miranda rights, took his gun, and a few weeks later, after trial, he was sentenced to life in prison for attempted robbery and second degree murder, but I may be wrong. I would just say murder and attempted robbery. But he was like America's Most Wanted, cuz while Suzanne started college, he kidnapped and raped a woman, shot her brains out, threw her in the river and fled. He even committed a drive-by shooting to a group of teenage boys, all because they were standing in front of him. What? Is this criminal confused or just completely out of his mind? He's trigger happy. But let's see how trigger happy he is when he's facing the rest of his life behind bars. And yes, Suzanne got in her 1975 Dodge Monaco, the Blues Brothers mobile. Oh, wait. What colors did she wear on the day when she was murdered? Oh, she wore a white t-shirt with blue jeans, Chuck Taylor sneakers, and her hair was down. But ever since she rocked the new hairstyle, the updo ponytail, and the rest of her hair is let down, she got into her car, cranked up the car, like started it up, key in ignition, And before she even started shifting her car to reverse with her bags packed, she played somewhat of a song that was opposite of their her parents' favorite song, Roxanne Roxanne. And yes, I'm referring to Roxanne Shantae's debut single, Roxanne's Revenge. Roxanne's Revenge. And she put on sunglasses and just drove off. Feeling free that after dealing with depression and being less communicative towards others, she relied on her roommates and she finally was relieved that the past was the past. The nightmare was officially over because she knew she can't hold a secret. And the only way, the moral to the story is when you have issues like nightmares and you never told anybody about this, you got to let them know. It can be the same example that you can learn from Jason's lyric, 1994 Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Like, don't keep everything a secret. You gotta let them know. People gotta understand where you're coming from. Even when the people you love are dead and gone, and you look in a different way, it's depressing. You gotta fix that. Even when you're abused, even when you're criticized for a lot of things like homosexuality, that's one thing. But to turn it around and change for the better, what you got to do? Stop. Retrace your steps. Start all over again. Even for individuals who are homosexual or dealing with homosexuality, the issues about it, the LGBTQs, and they decided that people, some people are still against it and they will kill you. You might as well not get involved. Or you might as well find the right spot, the right path. God is the right path. Why not start off with him? Or maybe let your past go. If it's dark, you got to move on. You got to tell somebody, let them know, and just feel relief because you can't move on without letting everybody know the past. And that is one thing that people are failing to do today. Now, it took Jamal a long time to realize that his sister was right. And he decided that one day when he was driving, he dealt with a lot of things. Police racially profiling him, a, a gangster girl, a female gangster took his car, and a gang was about to fight him, but they comforted him. The girl that took his car got shot, and the car returned to him. He was beaten. He was accidentally beaten or mistaken for a bully by one of the employees from high school. But at the same time, after knowing it was a big mistake, they cleaned him up and filled his gas. But for Susan, after 6 years of silence, dressed in black, ponytail all day, every day, never even let her hair down, but of course she had to let her hair down for showering. But I never mentioned she took baths. I just focus on what she's been wearing and what she's been up against. If you're in this position, honestly, college students, you do not want to end up dealing with the same positions as the characters Suzanne, Black Eyed Jane, and Luann was facing. Because it took them a long time to figure out that you cannot be happy with all this guilt, all the past stuff that's been haunting you for years. And what you should do to fight back the darkness is to come to the light. Come to the light. Bring the light out to somebody, and they'll do the same for you. Be a light. Even if you don't like the idea, like to hear the advice, you got to do it. And that's all I got to say. So, anyway, if you like what you heard so far about the story of Suzanne, feel free to like, comment, share if you haven't already, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And there'll be more in stores. And if I put you in a position like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful, man. That is some beautiful words. Like make you want to cry or make you want to think about the people you've got into a little squabble, a little scrap, or a little beef with, then I would say sorry, but at the same time, just know, just be aware, just stay tuned, because you don't know how long this madness is gonna keep going. You don't know when it's gonna end unless you try to do something. So just remember, if things go wrong, it's all up to you to make it right. Like change it up a bit. And with all that being said, live from Memphis, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing out.